Hello everyone, this is Amnesia again, going to be casting another Starbow game here between the Red Protoss player Teddybear, spawning up here in the top right of Texas 3.0, and down here in the bottom left is going to be the Blue Terran player Mazx. And Mazx I haven't seen any games from whatsoever, but I know that Teddybear's been around for quite a while now, and he definitely knows what he's doing. He's up there with some of the best players in Starbow, which I think anybody who's been around that long generally tends to be. Apparently, Mazx must be pretty good, if Teddybear's being honest here. Yeah, I'll be interested in the answer to this question as well. Let's see, Teddybear definitely has the APM advantage. Clevy analysis. I don't even know what that means. But I guess there are viewers during this, so Zephyus probably already casted this match if he's in the game. That's what he tends to do. But Teddybear gonna be throwing down his gateway, then heading out for the scout. And there is barracks coming down, nothing like he's not being playing the super greedy Terran style where they just go for that command center knowing that nothing can really stop them as long as they play everything outright. But he is not sending a scout out, by not really much that you have to see from the Protoss player unless you're worried about some sort of cheese at this point. Teddybear going to get up there. Not really going to be able to get any SCV harass done, really. The barracks is finishing up already. SCV going to get to work on that supply depot, and that means that the probe's going to start trying to tear down this barracks. And there we go, just keeping the probe alive, trying to make him be as annoying as possible. These little worker battles at the beginning definitely tax the multitasking and the APM of your opponent. If you know that you're better at multitasking than your opponent, it's always good to send a worker over there and get a little bit extra work done. But Teddybear going to get out of there, save that probe a little bit. The Marine trying to chase him down, but Teddybear's on top of it. Sometimes players do send them thinking that they'll be safe if they run away this far, and then they forget about them. The Marine's able to clean it up. I know the Marine's going to walk the whole way across there. Oh, a nice little juking there from the probe. Being able to save his life and get back in for subsequent scouting information. The Marine, though, going to make his way across and see if his opponent has expanded at all. But this probe going to head up the ramp here. If he's able to actually block this, oh, I hope we see that. There we go. There's the pylon block. The factory not going to be able to land on that tech lab as soon as it would like. And really there we go. There's going to be the tech lab coming down on this barracks right there. And that's really, it's just going to delay him a little bit. But it's definitely always worth the investment if you can get this kind of thing done. It's so hard to do because Terran players are usually very cautious about it. But then this Marine looks like he's going to end up losing his life as well because this Dragoon is faster and stronger than that Marine. There we go. The Marine not even going to try and do any shield damage, just going to run for his life, but he does. That running is in vain. Still no expansion from Teddybear. He may be saving up. Nope. He is spending all his money, so he's just going to put on a little bit of Dragoon pressure here, knowing that his opponent's tanks are going to be late. Really smart idea there. The tank and the tech is going to be a little bit behind. A second factory coming down, going to make use of this tech lab over here. When this pylon eventually falls, then this factory will be able to take it and start producing tanks. But these Dragoons know exactly what's at the top of the ramp because this pylon giving them vision. So there he goes. He's going to start pummeling away at these vultures, and the vultures forced to retreat. Some SCVs pulled off the line, but they're not doing anything except taking shots from these goons. The vultures coming back in to try to get some damage done. And the SCV is also going to retreat. More vultures coming out now. So we have 3 vultures versus 2 Dragoons with the SCV pull. It will be enough to push us back. 4 vultures now on the map. And the Dragoon's going to keep backing up. One of the Dragoons getting dangerously low on health. A new Dragoon joins the fight. And 3 Dragoons now should be able to do the damage that it needs to do here. But the micro from Maz is just really, really good. Keeping those SCVs up front. Not letting the Dragoons get any shots off on the vultures that they want to actually do the damage to. He hasn't really killed off any SCVs yet either, as far as I can tell. He's damaging new SCVs all the time, so there's a lot of wounded SCVs, not a lot of dead SCVs. And one of the vultures does fall. One of the Dragoons will fall shortly after. And Teddybear just not doing any the focus firing that he could have done that would have really allowed him to win that engagement. But Teddybear will be a little bit behind in the supply for a little bit. This pylon going down means that he will be supply blocked. There's a new pylon on the way. And this next is going to finish up and should end the supply block there as well. Here we go. He does have his second base up quite a bit earlier than Mazx, so that is good for him. It's to be expected in this matchup. And let's see where the scan goes down. He's just checking to see if his opponent did expand after all, and it turns out he did with 3 Dragoons there at the entrance. The Dragoons have to stay back at their own base for the time being because the tanks being out means that Mazx does win any engagements that they get into at this point. And there's Born. I guess this was a pretty big spectator sport whenever this happens. Spectator had a lot of spectators in this game is what I'm trying to say. The Vulture's going to make their way across. I'm not sure if he split them on purpose or if that was an accident, but this Vulture in the wrong side of town there almost gets taken out. One of the Dragoons was firing on the wrong Vulture, otherwise this Vulture would have lost his life, but all 3 Vultures remain with all 3 of their spider mines intact as well. And very passive play from both of them. There's been a little bit of poking here and there. The big push by Teddybear was obviously very aggressive, but it really didn't do as much damage as it could have, and now he's going to sit back on his natural. Even Mazx not being super active with his Vultures, just poking in, seeing what his opponent has, if he can squeeze by, sees he can't, and heads back home. Lets the SCVs repair up those Vultures, so they'll be as good as new. A couple of spider mines being laid down just in case. He's not real worried about his opponent moving out at this point, though. An observer now out so he can get some scouting information on his opponent. And there's the scan. Going to see what he's working up against because he is doing a big push out right now. We've got 6 Vultures and 2 siege tanks. Definitely a force to be reckoned with. There goes some spider mines getting laid down. Does Teddybear see this? He does see the spider mines go down. He's going to send the observers over there so he can start cleaning these out before the tanks arrive. Very nice pickup there by Teddybear that he was able to see that. And all of those spider mines getting taken out before the engagement. Those spider mines are very crucial in these early game engagements. And a siege tank's going to siege up back there. There we go, more spider mines getting laid down to provide a little buffer zone for that, but the siege tanks are a little bit too far back. Not able to engage like they'd like to. We do have a War Prism out now. He's loading up some Zealots so we can drop on top of these tanks. And I think this push is going to get denied very easily by Teddybear. Although the siege tank's taking quite a few good shots there on these Dragoons. And siege tanks moving up, the Zealots unloading on top of these siege tanks, the Vultures focusing down as best they can. Dragoons moving in for their kill. And the siege tanks do start firing on the Zealots. Very good for Teddybear, but he does manage to take out one of the tanks. Another tank extremely low. He's going to call on some SCVs to start repairing that up. And Teddybear's going to want to get in there and snipe this tank before this SCV starts repairing it. But the SCVs are now off of their cooldown, their initial cooldown, whatever you call it. And they're going to be able to start repairing this now. So Mazx now with a light contain on his opponent. Now going to be able to start shelling away on these pylons now that he has the vision up there. Siege tanks just leapfrogging closer and closer. Going to be able to start hitting this army now. That means Teddybear is going to have to move out and make something happen. Unloading a couple more Zealots on top of these tanks. And going for the wounded one first. One of the Zealots dies almost instantly. One of the tanks does fall though, leaving only 1 tank remaining to try to push this. Another tank is reinforcing at the time at the moment though. And this War Prism going to go back, pick up some more Zealots and Dragoons, and try to unload them one more time. And Dragoon comes out first, which is good. It takes a lot more shots from the Vulture to kill Dragoon than it does the Zealot. And it looks like this push will be denied. And these Vultures can try to pick up one more Zealot before they go home. And there we go, there's their kill, and they're going to head back to the rest of their army. Mazx forces arm movement across the map. I'm not sure that he's going to try to keep pushing this, though. He just doesn't really have the units that he needs now. The production from Teddybear just a little bit too good. The defender's advantage really going to start to kick in here. And there goes the 3rd Nexus, a little bit behind the 3rd command center, so Mazx in a good position as far as that goes. Being able to keep his opponent busy and therefore expand a little bit behind this mech pressure. Vultures just keep poking in, and a scan going down, seeing if there's any weak spots for those Vultures to exploit, but there is not. Some SCV's going to land, try to repair up some of these Vultures. One of the Vultures gets taken out. There's still a really wounded Vulture hanging out here back by the tanks. And there we go, the tanks are going to start shelling away on these Dragoons. But there's just a lot from Teddybear unloading on top of the siege tanks. The Zealot's going to clean these up, no problem. The Dragoons moving in a little bit further. There still are 5 Dragoons remaining. and this tank will get cleaned up. That means that there's a considerable force now from Teddybear being able to take control of the center of the map. And he's not really going to be able to break Mazx, but he can definitely get Mazx feeling a little bit nervous about holding this third base. Teddybear will, however, return all of his forces home, not going to try to press his luck too much. And now that he does have his third completely secure, he's just going to be content with that. And there he goes, picking up some more units. He can move back out to the center of the map. See if he can put a little bit of pressure on here. And not sure what he's planning on doing over here. There we go. I'm going to take this high ground to the center here. Warp Prism. Doing a little bit of scouting maybe. The siege tank, so taking off some shots on these Dragoons. And there goes half of Teddybear's army. Looks like he wasn't really paying attention there. This Warp Prism still holding all the Zealots in the back. Not doing anything. It should be unloading on top of these siege tanks that are all clumped up. And the Dragoons just losing a lot of them for not a lot there. Goliath's now in the field means that these Dragoons are going to have to run away from these Vultures. And one Vulture getting very brave will get taken out. A few more Dragoons that were heading over to reinforce now going to get caught against these tanks, Vultures, and Goliaths. More SCVs unloading back to do some repairs. And will this be enough? Unloading those Zealots actually makes a huge difference, and these Dragoons going to clean this up here. Goliath falls and the tank is now on the run. More Vultures reinforcing to try to save that tank, and it looks like they will. One more shot and there goes the tank. And the Warp Prism picks up two of the Dragoons and starts to head home. This Dragoon will lose its life to these Vultures. But that's alright. Definitely okay to trade some gateway units for tanks any day of the week. And more Vultures flying in. You're going to see they can really punish Teddybear for possibly overextending a little bit, but turns out Teddybear has just enough units to push those Vultures back. And we've got double upgrades on the way now for Teddybear. And +2, no, this is +1/+1, my mistake. +1/+1 for Mazx also, so upgrade's going to be pretty on par. Charge just now started, just definitely something that you really want to have as Protoss all the time, in my opinion. The speed lots just are so much more effective than your slow Zealots. Although the way he's been using them and just dropping them on top of tanks, the leg enhancements aren't nearly as important, but as he gets more and more units, that's going to definitely start to play a little bit bigger of a role. And here we see Mazx starting to take a strong center position here. Getting more and more SCVs down there to start repairing these things up. He's really going to try to contain his opponent on these three bases and make it so that he can secure this fourth base up here on the top left, just playing extremely macro-oriented here. And this Observer flying ahead so that he can start to clear out these minefields and see what's in store for him. Does take one shot from the tanks there and a few shots from the Vultures. But this is exactly where he wants to be. He just wants to slow this progression a little bit so that this kind of thing doesn't happen. Starts losing his units, losing his third to the siege, like a strong siege position. And there we go, Teddybear moving in from the left side with a handful of units here. More and more units starting to reinforce, making this look like a little bit more of a formidable force here, focusing down the tanks that he needs to. There we go, some Zealots dragging mines into tanks. We've got Dragoons in the bottom side here trying to clean up some of the tanks that are down there, not protected by anything. Warp Prism gets cleaned up, the Observer's going to get cleaned up, and it looks like Teddybear's flank there, ultimately unsuccessful. This SCV will even save this missile turret down here. And the tanks that are up front really doing the damage to this third are going to get cleaned up. He does manage to save the Observers with that phase shield ability, which means that Mazx has to actually manually target these Observers in order to kill them, but he's just going to have to get strong gateway army at this point and try to overwhelm his opponent, at least push him back far enough so that he can hold his base. And the gateway does get taken out before producing any of the units that he wanted to produce. And I'm not sure if you can hear the attempted piano lessons that are from my neighbor, but if you can, I'm sorry about that. These Zealots going to run in here trying to focus down these tanks. The Dragoons also, the tanks are what he needs to get rid of. Front missile turret does get taken down. These forges going to get taken down as well as they're researching +2/+2. At least his +1 did finish. So does have that going for him right now. He's not at an upgrade disadvantage yet. These siege tanks in such a strong position. This choke is so tiny. And the Vulture's trying to move in there. and start picking off units, and they retreat, letting the siege tanks get closer and closer. Look at all these siege tanks so close together. If Teddybear could somehow manage to get some units in there, it would be absolutely wonderful for him, but Mazx right now doing a great job of holding this strong position. The Dark Templar not going to be able to do much of anything because of these missile turrets that Mazx has just been so militant about keeping up, though. There goes one Dark Templar, going to start taking out these vultures. Really nice that they're able to stay out of the range of these siege tanks. The splash damage from the Zealots, though, actually doing a lot of damage to these Dark Templar, and it looks like Mazx's front force is going to get taken out. He's been spending a lot of energy on dropping SCVs, so maybe he just doesn't have enough for a scan. There goes the scan. All those Dark Templar are going to get taken out, but Teddybear has done a lot as far as stymieing this push. A recall of probes onto this Nexus. Strange choice. I can't imagine that's what he actually meant to do. He probably just spammed recall on all these probes, so 5 of them went there. That has to be what happened there. Scan going to see if he's able to push this further. And honestly, it looks like he can, as long as he's careful with positioning these tanks. He shouldn't have a problem breaking Teddybear at this point. Teddybear not even going to try to hold the high ground here. He knows he's at a disadvantage. But letting these tanks take the high ground might be a bad choice, because it's going to make it that much harder to break. The siege tank's going to be in a really strong position here on this ramp. But it looks like he's just going to back up and try to attack from the southern position and try to get a hold between the natural and Teddybear's new third. Meanwhile, Mazx has been able to secure his 6th base. Is one base up here, one base down here. So he's now doubling the bases of his opponent, as well as having an extremely strong army. I'm not sure what Teddybear can do to come back from this. Mazx even storing up a ton of money right now, not able to spend his huge income. He's got all these bases mining. He's got lots of SCVs. Taking a look at the units, 110 SCVs, overdoing it just a little bit, I think. So that means like 50 some, right? No, 62 supply of Mazx is tied up in workers, which actually puts them at a much closer. So it's 132 to 126 army supply. I think there's actually an easier way to do that as well. But Storm going to be coming out here. But their army supply actually really, really close because of this this huge worker investment for Mazx. And looks like Teddybear finally going to be able to break this. A nice concave, but he's going to be forced to back up. These siege tanks on the high ground just too strong. A couple of tanks down here on the low ground going to keep shelling away at these Dragoons that are stuck in the corner. And any vultures, though, that move forward are losing their lives, so more and more Zealots are going to be really helpful. Archon's getting warped in. A couple of Goliaths taking the wrong path. Might get picked off for free. Siege tank's not sieged up, but there's still enough of them that Teddybear's going to have to retreat, take the high ground up here, and kind of pray for that to support him. Focusing on the vultures. One siege tank goes down. Will he focus his other siege tank down? A nice attack from the back from Teddybear. He's got Archon, Zealots, and Dragoons, and this force will finally get cleaned up. And reinforcements now streaming over. Teddybear should be able to clean up these reinforcements fairly easily compared to this last battle that he had. This one shouldn't be nearly as tough for him. Zealots running in to focus down these siege tanks, and there we go. The main siege tank falls, and that leaves just vultures to get cleaned up by Archon's Dragoons. And there they go. A couple of reinforcing vultures going to get caught there by Mazx, and he's going to pull them back. 4th base going down for Teddybear now. He's going to try to catch up. But a huge line of tanks coming over to reinforce here. It looks like it's going to be Teddybear's going to have to pull out his magic defense once again. Dark Templar getting scanned there before they even get a chance to do anything. Able to take out one vulture, but not worth the cost for a Dark Templar at all. Mazx even taking Teddybear's, what would be like a third, what would generally be your easiest third to take, I suppose. But Mazx just going to claim the entire map for his mining base and not let Teddybear do anything. Teddybear, meanwhile, struggling to hold his new third. He's going to try to unload Archons on top of the tanks here. And he does manage to unload them before the War Prism gets taken out, but they aren't able to do a whole lot of damage either way. Side Templar are getting taken out, and now Teddybear's forces are just disintegrating as they funnel in here. And I really don't think... Yeah, there we go. There's a good game.